Hello, chaps and chapesses. My name is John Fungus, and I hope you're all doing about as well as you can be. Today, I'm going to be giving you all a little lesson, stepping up to my podium to wax lyrical about a subject of much scholarly value. And hopefully, you're going to sit there, listen contentedly, and enjoy. Yes, today we're going to be talking about orcs. But not just any orcs. Not these orcs, not those orcs, and certainly not, these fucking abominations. No, today we're going to be talking about the best boys in fiction. The bashiest, nastiest, butt-fuck, ugliest gang of bastards to ever disgrace the 41st millennium. It's, of course, the Orks.
And that's Orks with a K, you cheeky git.
Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the 6 great orc clans that plague the stars in the Warhammer galaxy. We'll be examining their traditions, tactics, strengths, and weaknesses in the hopes of offering you an insight into the unique intricacies of 40k's orcs that really make them stand out as an imaginative and fascinating science fiction faction. Science faction fiction. Yes. Now, just quickly as a bit of forewarning, this video is intended for those already somewhat familiar with Warhammer 40,000 to begin with. However, for those of you who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, here's a very brief introduction as to what orcs actually are. And of course, those of you guys who already know what we're talking about as a baseline, feel free to skip ahead. It'll only be a minute or two though.
You impatient bitch.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there is only war.
You know that because it says so on the box, see? But, luckily for us, there are those precious few in the galaxy who have absolutely no problem with this arrangement. The Orks, also known as Greenskins, are a species uniquely suited to the galactic hellscape of Warhammer 40,000. They adore violence beyond anything else, more concerned with the joys of combat itself rather than any wider objectives of conquest or control. For the Orks, the 41st millennium is not a great game to be won, a wilderness to be tamed, nor even a tattered shadow of a damned Eden. For them, it's nothing short of paradise. Physiologically, orcs share a familiar humanoid body plan, though their upper bodies are always disproportionately massive and robust, and feature a predominant muscular hunched back. Most interestingly, orcoid anatomy displays a perfect symbiotic hybridization of fungal and animal traits. They reproduce via spores for one, which means it only takes a single microscopic cell to spawn an entire orcoid colony that a world will rarely, if ever, truly be rid of. Their fungal structure also awards the orcs a terrifying regenerative ability. Even the most freshly spawned orc is routinely capable of surviving mass physical trauma, dismemberment, disembowelment, and sometimes even decapitation if a pain boy doctor can be reached quickly enough. The big green gorillas are even capable of limited photosynthesis in the most dire of circumstances. Now, for balance reasons, well, technically as a result of untold millions of years of genetic decay, but we're not talking about crocs here. The orcs' impressive physical forms are offset by their tiny little baby stupid brains. And yes, that is the technical term. But in an even greater showcase of their raw adaptive prowess, the orcs have turned even this mental deficiency to their advantage. You see, orcs are almost as stubborn as they are stupid, and they are nearly as stupid as they are violent. This stupidity, however, is in many ways the orcs' greatest strength. All orcs possess and produce a latent psychic power known as War energy, and as more and more orcs join together in ever-growing warbands, this energy condenses and compounds on itself, eventually bursting into a great surge of psychic power. This War energy allows the orcs a limited ability to warp reality, and the orcs use this power, albeit unwittingly, to literally beat the laws of physics into submission so that they can better comply with their own primitive and superstitious beliefs. For example, and this will come up later, when orc vehicles are painted red, they go faster. Nothing about the vehicle, other than the fact that it has been painted red, has changed, but it goes faster. Whilst this might seem like a blatant violation of any and all physical laws to a human, that is simply because we are not orcs. To an orc, this phenomenon is the most self-evident and reasonable thing in the world, and this is because every orc is instinctually and completely certain, beyond any possible reproach, without ever having been taught, that the red ones go faster. As a species, this cultural belief is literally manifested as a result of a collective gestalt racial psychic beatdown on empiricism at large. Having heard all this, it might be difficult to envisage what it is that stops the orcs from simply taking over the entire galaxy. And the answer to that is very, very simple. The main thing stopping the orcs, of course, is the orcs. Because orcs love fighting. They don't love governing or empire building. They couldn't care less about supply trains or building regulations or any of the things that you would actually need to hold territory against more organized factions. Why the fuck would they bother trying to work out any other legal system than the one they already have? You see, if in dispute, the orcs in question will punch each other in the face until one of them is unconscious or dead, and the orc that goes down is evidently proven to have been in the wrong. That being said, orcs are not a monoculture, though they're not a million miles away from being that either. But that wraps us round nicely to the point of our video, where we begin talking about the 6 different orc clans. The Goffs, the Evil Sunz, the Bad Moons, the Snakebites, the Blood Axes, the Death Skulls, and the Freebooters.
Oi, enough zoggy talking. You told us it'd be a minute. It's been 7. Get on with it. Part 1. The Goffs.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. Yeah, sure. Well, fuck me, I guess! The Goffs are the biggest, the strongest, and the angriest of all the orc clans. In many ways, its members serve as living models of what a greenskin should be. Brutal, unrelenting, and war-loving beyond all else. When the mothers of the Imperium scare their naughty children with tales of lurking orcs, it is probably the image of a Goff that they conjure. You see, when orcs fight, the elation of battle and the adrenaline that it brings them causes them to grow both physically and mentally, developing mere boys into ever larger, more brutal, and even more cunning orcs, eventually becoming knobs or even war bosses. Of all the orc clans, Goffs feel that thrill of battle to the fullest, and for this reason, Goffs tend to be bigger, stronger, and angrier on average compared to the orcs of other clans. As a result, more Goffs rise to the rank of Nob or War Boss than any other clan, instilling in them an inherent entitlement to lead. Their symbol is that of the raging horned bull, and much like that grand and destructive beast, Goffs are stubborn, powerful, and always ready to meet their problems head-on. Often literally. They sport iconic horned helmets in order to deliver goring infantry charges into enemy ranks. They are severe and serious for orcs, finding many of their kin's laid-back and childish demeanour unbecoming of a proper fighter. As a result, they don't bother with decorating their war gear with flashing colours, maintaining simple black armour, occasionally lined with white checkering. Goffs simply do not have time to paint their armour fancy colours, because that time would clearly be better spent getting on towards the next fight. Unusually aggressive even for orcs, Goffs subscribe to a philosophy that prescribes not only to punch first and ask questions later, but to punch first, then also punch second and third. Even off the battlefield, a Goff will punch another orc for looking at them funny, or for looking at them unfunny, or not looking at them at all. If, in some incredibly unlikely event, a Goff cannot start a random fight with another orc around them, they have a host of martial traditions that force them into combat. In many instances, Goff whelps new to the clan will don their horned helmets, take up in the arena and charge each other head on, slamming their skull together until one or both of them lay unmoving on the floor. In this unhinged obsession with violence, the Goffs embody all it is to be an orc, specializing in fielding unending tides of boys armed with stabbers, choppers, and pokers galore, their melee skills kept sharp by constant infighting. To the untrained eye, one might even suggest that the Goffs have something of a tactical mindset, attacking from all angles simultaneously and deploying overwhelming and devastating force. And whilst it is entirely true that the Goffs will do this, they will certainly attack from all directions at once and in massive numbers, let it be clear that this is not a tactical decision. It's simply that there is no way to keep the seemingly endless horde of Goff boys from joining in once the crumping gets going. They don't even really need to have any orders. Every boy knows that if there's a pile of Goffs running in a given direction, then there are bloody good odds that there's something over there to fight. And in case one needed any more evidence of the clear supremacy of the Goff clan over the other orcs, the Goffs can point to none other than Gazgul Mag Uruk Thraka, the greatest, biggest, baddest orc warboss to ever live. The great prophet of Gork himself is indeed a member of the Goffs, wading into battle, proudly bearing the banner of the bull and the black and white checkering of the nastiest, toughest, smashiest group of orcs in the galaxy. There's a common orc phrase that I think nicely surmises the Goffs. Ask any orc boy and they will tell you that a Goff is always worth his teeth. Now, in the one sense, the orcs use teeth as currency. So that saying tells us that the orcs believe that a Goff is always worth the price of hiring him. In another sense, of course, it tells you that if you did manage to beat the teeth out of a Goff, you'll have certainly gotten a good fight out of them first. And in the end, we all know that that's the most important thing.
The Goffs. These proper lads. Nice and fighty. But it's time to pick up the pace a bit and head over to those speed freaks. Part 2. The Evil Sunz.
If there's one clan that's even more impatient to get stuck into the heat of battle than the Goffs, it's the Evil Sunz. And that's because they're impatient to get anywhere. You see, all orcs possess an inherent craving for speed. Less urgent, perhaps, than their endless craving for violence, but nonetheless ubiquitous throughout the greenskin race. And the Evil Sunz kick this appetite for acceleration into 6th gear. This clan is made up of those orcs who go further, those ardent believers of the cult of speed, who argue that whilst the thrill of battle is, of course, ultimately the lifeblood of the orcoid species, there are other ways to get a kick out of life. Namely, by going really fucking fast. Luckily for them, the Evil Sunz have managed to deploy their great orcoid genius in order to smash their two great loves together in a glorious head-on collision of high-octane violence. And I promise I did not steal that line from an early 2000s film with a girl with big tits and a car that seems to be going quite fast. The symbol of the Evil Sunz is a blaringly bright red orc face snarling out from a blazing black sun. Some Imperial scholars have posited that this is a reference to the supergiant red star of the orcs' original homeworld, though this is far from confirmed. What cannot be denied, however, is the Evil Sunz' obsession with painting their armour, vehicles, and anything else they can get their hands on red from top to bottom, grille to bumper. As previously mentioned, all orcs know that the red ones go faster, but for the Evil Sunz, this is only part of the story. In reality, painting their vehicles red marks the continuation of a tradition from the very most ancient of times, when primal orcs would daub their mounts in the blood of slain enemies. Indeed, many elders of the clan still refuse to use anything other than blood to paint their vehicles. And in many ways, it's these streaking scarlet vehicles that define the Evil Sunz. Sort of like the Thunderbirds if Adam Tracy was caught round the back of a B&M high on bath salts and doing unspeakable things to a badger. To an orc, The Evil Sunz share a deeply instinctual obsession with their chosen steed, devoting themselves entirely to maintaining and upgrading whatever crime against engineering they've managed to get their hands on. Indeed, many of them are physically addicted to the feeling of speed, and will stop at nothing to send themselves once again careening into the front lines. It's been noted that the Evil Sunz have the worst attention span of all scatterbrained orcs, and that the only thing that can keep them focused is an open road and the deafening shriek of the exhausts. The Evil Sunz devote all they have to their rides, and they are nothing if not imaginative when it comes to new and deranged ways to achieve truly ludicrous speeds. Every Evil Sunz orc has their own unique and baffling idea of how to build the fastest weapon of war. As you might expect, there can be a huge amount of insane variety when it comes to orc vehicles. In fact, it's probably more accurate to say that every orc vehicle ever produced is a one of one, a unique hodgepodge amalgamation of whatever bits of scrap are available, loosely aligned to some mad mechanical plan the given orc has come up with to squeeze a few hundred extra horsepower into a V16 loaded tricycle. Despite this extreme love of individualization, most orc vehicles can be divided into a few broad categories, though let it be said that there will always be exceptions when it comes to any attempt to codify orcoid engineering. War bikes and war trikes are the smallest, fastest, and arguably most dangerous of the orc vehicles, both for the riders themselves and for those they're running down. They are single-seat racers and tend to have 2 to 3 wheels, though tank treads, skis, or even anti-gravity skates have also been used when available. What warbikes lack in heavy armaments or armour, they make up for with blinding straight-line speed, frustrating evasive agility, and just being insanely cheap. If an Evil Sunz boy is looking for his first set of wheels, he'll often look no further than old unreliable, the warbike. War buggies are the next weight class up, robust and capable of carrying a small mob of boys directly into the front lines. They are powerful all-terrain vehicles, capable of tackling any surface with a rugged determination and total lack of self-preservation. Some buggies can be customized with the ability to jump with ground-directed thrusters, or equipped with a vicious nitrous injector system for a sudden burst of deadly speed. Buggies are individualized beyond all possible rhyme or reason, giving an ambitious evil son the perfect blank canvas upon which to work their destructive masterpieces. Trucks are the real big boys of the Evil Sunz garage armories. Huge smog-churning behemoths that blur the line between armoured vehicles and fully fledged battle tanks. Surprisingly fast for all their tons of heavy armour, trucks can lug heavy weapons, bombs, or even smaller vehicles into battle, roaring across the combat zone with booming horns and deafening gunfire. Some Evil Sunz will go even further in the pursuit of speed, leaving the ground behind altogether and taking to the skies. These flyboys are considered mad even by the standard of the most reckless of orcs, racing at breakneck speed through bouts of anti-aircraft fire behind the wheel of something that has no fucking business leaving the ground in the first place. This constant adrenaline surge leads to many Evil Sunz orcs becoming physically addicted to the feeling of speed. These orcs, known as speed freaks, are dedicated to a pseudo-religious orcoid subculture known as the Cult of Speed. Speed freaks often refuse to leave their vehicles at all, sleeping, eating, and scrapping without ever taking their hands off the steering wheel. These orcs will stop at nothing to send themselves once again careening into the front lines. In short, the Evil Sunz are adrenaline junkies like none other, some of the most dangerous, reckless, and naturally skilled pilots in the galaxy, living for nothing more than the rush of wind across their skin, the smell of burning promethium in the air, and the howling of engines.
I don't zoggy mind them Evil Sunz, you know, although I heard some strange rumours of what they get up to with their trucks. Exhaust pipes, you know what I mean. Anyway, moving on to the...
Guys, I am actually so sorry. Guys, I'm actually so sorry. Guys, I'm so sorry. I thought this was going to be much smaller than it was. I've never made a YouTube video before. My brain doesn't work, as I feel like should be so mega evident right now. So, in order for me to get any kind of chance of finishing this, it needs to be broken up. I'm sorry. I didn't want to do it. I really tried to not do it. and then I thought I either do it or it's never getting done. It's never getting done. So if this was like even slightly tolerable to you, and you wouldn't like kill a baby in front of their parents to stop you from seeing the second part, then this is good for you. This is good for me. You're gonna have to tune in, same bat time, same bat channel, back here again sometime within the next few days. I promise it won't be that long. It'd be no longer than a week. No longer than a week. So what you could do is press like and subscribe. Oh god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That felt so bad. That genuinely felt so bad, and I'm really sorry about it. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We learned about the Goffs and the Evil Sunz. That's all I've got. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.